What's the difference between having the skills to invest your own money versus giving your money to experts to invest on your behalf? This is feedback on the 500K challenge. The challenge started on the 1st of November 2021 when I watched a YouTube video. And in this video, a client gave two experts here in South Africa, a fund manager and a broker, 500,000 Rand each, with basically the assignment to see who's going to do best with his money over a 5-year term, because one of the experts invests in global funds, in other words, offshore, and the second one in local funds here in South Africa. At the same time, I took on the challenge and I sent out an email to my database, and this is the reason why I'm making this follow-up video, where I said that there's nothing that a client or someone will learn in the process. The moment that you give your money away, you've got no control and over the risk or over the growth, plus you are taking all the risk. Now, before I really get into this, there's something that I think that I need to clarify. There are two groups of people. The first group, very small group of people, they will come and say, okay, I'm prepared to take the responsibility to learn the skills in order to do this myself. And there's only 4 high-value skills. The first one is actually a mental skill, high-value mental skills, and then there are 3 high-value financial skills, high income skill, high business skill, and high investment skills. And very few people are willing to learn the skills to become a successful investor. But by far the majority of people, they are conditioned to believe that they cannot do it, that it's too difficult, that you need to go to the experts, and then they're going to give their money away to someone else, hoping that that person is going to make their money. So this challenge came about when the client gave these people 500,000 Rand each. And I said, but I want to show an alternative. And the alternative is for a very small group of people. It's not for everyone, because everyone is not going to buy into this. They will not invest in themselves. They will not learn the skills to do it in themselves. But if you're a wealth creator, and by the way, a wealth creator is a person that knows how to create, to grow, and to protect their wealth, then it's a total outcome, different outcome that you're going to get. So I'm going to play you a quick little video. It's going to be about a minute or so, just to give you like an introduction and bring you up to speed to where these two gentlemen are. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about where we are and how I can prove and how I can validate that.
Well, here we go. Installment number 1 of maybe we're going to have, well, many of them, at least 6 of them, perhaps as many as 10 of them, in the local versus offshore challenge. What happened was one of the BizNews community members said, here's R1 million. I want to put 500,000 Rand with a local champion and 500,000 Rand with an offshore champion. And Piet Viljoen has been looking after the local money, Magnus Haystack looking after the offshore money. Now, Piet Viljoen, you're just way in front of Magnus at the moment. You out like a rocket. His 500,000 is now worth 590,000 Rand, 679. So it's up 18% in the last 6 months, which is phenomenal. Magnus, that 500,000 Rand that the community member entrusted to you is now worth 356,000 Rand. So it's down 28%. Are you worried?
So now that you know, Piet 18.14%, Magnus minus 28%. And if you do a combination of the two, you're going to find that the client's position is he invested R1 million, and on the million it is worth today 946,679 rands. That is a minus 5.33% growth in total on his money, which I think is not bad if you take the economy, total economy into consideration and what is busy happening not only in South Africa but around the world. But where do we stand by applying the 4 high-value skills? Right, the 500K challenge, if I compare the 500,000, now there's a trick, and I'll get back to the trick just now. Now, my portfolio on the 1st of May, 2022, that is exactly also 6 months down the line, is 2,040,090 rands. That means there's a growth on 500,000 Rand of 308%, 308.02%. I think that you'll agree with me that that's a huge difference between 18.14% or a minus 28.8%. Now, what causes that difference? It is skills. That's all. The only difference between rich people and poor people is that rich people are prepared to take the responsibility to learn the skills and to invest their own money. So the investment always starts with yourself. And once that is in place, then you're going to learn how to invest in property, how to invest in business, how to invest in cryptos. And those are the three asset classes that I am investing my money in. And that is the outcome of this 2,040,000. Now, on the crypto side, I'm down. I'm seriously down on the crypto side. But the crypto side is only a small portion of the total portfolio because my job is to let my money work for me. But the way that we structure it, we call it an asymmetrical structure, where the downside is very, very small, but the upside is unlimited. So the downside for the client is 500. In other words, it's 1 million. And he's got no guarantees on that million. For example, in the one advisor's situation, his money is worth, he gave them 500,000 and it's worth at the moment only 356,000. The second one is lucky. And by the way, that is the exception. It's not the rule. There is 500,000 is worth 590,679 Rand. So there is up, but in general, he's down by 5.33%. But he's got no control. In other words, he's taking all the risk. Both these funds can go down, and he's got no control. But also, he's got no control over the growth. The reason why he's done this is because he hasn't got the skill to do it himself. And that is why he entrusts his money, what everyone believes, give it to the experts, they will know what they're doing. But the experts got no idea what they're doing because they entrust that then to the companies that they're dealing with, hoping that these companies will perform. So it's only luck. But if you want to be secure, you have to take control over the risk and you have to take control over the growth. Now, what is the wealth creator strategy? The wealth creator strategy, if I can give you a definition, is the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. Now, here's where the trick comes in. When I started this challenge, everyone hasn't got 1 million or 500,000 Rand, especially in South Africa, to invest. And for that reason, the average person will not learn anything from this 500K challenge. So I sent out an email to my database and I said to them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the wealth creator strategy. But instead of starting off with 500,000 Rand, that is the risk out of my own pocket, I'm only going to limit that to $6.52 or 100 Rand. In other words, my total investment will never be higher than 100 Rand here in South Africa or $6.52. And I will apply the wealth creator strategy, which simply says the intelligent use of limited resources. So by bringing my limited resource down to 100 Rand, it means the most that I can lose, will be 100 Rand. It will never and it can never be more than 100 Rand. Right. So I have to rely on my resources, limited 100 Rand, plus the resources that I do have. I am a wealth creator. In other words, I do have the skill sets, the mindset, the skill sets, and the action sets to know how to let my money work for me. And the purpose of the Wealth Creators Method is to show my students how to do it for themselves on condition that they are prepared to take the responsibility and to put in the time and the effort to learn the mindset, the skill set, and take the action set in order to be able to do stuff like this themselves. So my risk was only 100 Rand. Right. Now, I gave myself like a year to get the 100 Rand to 500,000 Rand so that I could start the challenge. Now, at this stage, it is worth already 2,040,090 Rands. This is the power of taking control. This is the power of taking responsibility for your own investment in yourself and investing in your skill sets. Right. So, but again, it's not for everyone, and everyone's not going to do it, and they will have 200 million excuses, and that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But for that small group of people, I'd like to invite you to follow this on YouTube and see what the outcome is going to be. There will be webinars where you can come and attend and see the blueprint, the outline. And basically what we're doing, we're only focusing on 4 high value skills. 1, mentally. If the mindset is not right, the attitudes are not right, nothing is going to work, because people are not going to follow through, and they're not going to do that they're supposed to do in order to become successful. And then the other 3 skills are financial skills. And as I've said, my portfolio, the only things that I'm going to invest in is business, cryptos, and property. And I'm using property specifically as the security. So I've got webinars on property where I show people how I'm using property and how they can do it from a security point of view, but then also from a growth point of view. So my goal with this 100 Rand is to take the 100 Rand to at least 20 million over the 5-year period. Okay, now I know that a lot of people are going to say, Hannes, but how are you going to prove it? You can just say whatever you want. I've contacted my auditors and I told them about this challenge. I've had several of these challenges before. So in the webinar, I'm going to give you proof of previous challenges and the outcome of those challenges. And therefore, I'm 100% sure that this outcome is going to be exactly the same, simply because I've got a strategy that I'm following, the Wealth Creators strategy or the Wealth Creators method. Right, so I gave my auditors instruction to document this whole process. So I'm documented. There's a lot of my existing Legacy Mastermind students that is following me, that can see on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis what I'm doing, where I'm investing in, how I'm generating the cash flow in order to do all of this, and then where I put my money. Now, I will, for those people, and make this generally public, once a year I'm going to publish my financials. In other words, the income, the profit and loss statements, the net effect, where I've invested, how much is in property, how much is in cash, how much is in cryptos, that sort of thing. Because there's no other ways that I can validate and prove this except through that process. Right, so I hope that helps a little bit. If you want more information regarding the webinars and you like to follow this, there's going to be a link just below to book for a next upcoming webinar. If you want to follow this playlist, in other words, where I'm going to do the publishing as well as doing a lot of education for free here on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, click that bell icon so that you can be notified as soon as a new video in this series is coming out. I've got a separate channel where I'm helping people with property. And then this is the 500K challenge where basically everything is included. So I really hope that you will find a lot of value because of this challenge. So thank you for paying attention. If you are one of that small group that are willing to put in the time and the effort, in other words, to develop the limited resources that you've got in order to secure an incredible future for yourself, then come and listen to one of the webinars, right? If it makes sense, continue with it. If it does not make sense, go to one of the 5,000 plus brokers or consultants or advisors out there. That is going to be far better than to try to do absolutely nothing, except of course if your money starts running into a negative. Please let me know in the comment section, what do you think is the outcome going to be? Do you think that I'm going to get to the 20 million plus? Or do you think it's just airy-fairy stuff, this thing? I know on Facebook I'm getting a lot of comments as well as on YouTube from time to time where people say, bullshit, it can't be, I'm a scammer and stuff like that. But I think if you check my record, you will see that I am able to prove. And here at the Wealth Creators University, the only thing that matters is the results. So forget about all the fancy stuff. What are the results? So thanks for your time, and I'll see you then in the next one.